Good morning, Facebook. Good morning, Instagram. If you're on Instagram and you can see me or hear me, let me know. It's showing me as frozen on my end of Instagram. Maybe I should go back in. Come on in, guys. Come on in. I'm just going to go back on live on Instagram because I can't see anyone. Let's try this again. Hope you all had a good weekend. I'm having some technical difficulties, so I'm just trying to get back on. Okay, I think it's working now. If you can see me on YouTube, Instagram, or Facebook, just comment and let me know you can see me because on my end, one of them was showing that you couldn't, there was issues there. But if this is your first time tuning in, welcome. My name is Aisha Chidole. I'm an immigration lawyer and I represent clients all over the U.S. with their immigration matters. We are located in Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia, but we represent clients in every state. I know I get a lot of people sending us messages asking, during this day, do we have an office there? Please keep in mind that even though we're here in Georgia, because immigration is federal law, we take cases everywhere in every state so we can assist you. Okay. I see someone there that says that they need to speak with me urgently. And another one that wants a private consultation. If you do, please call my office. It's 407-995-6567. You can also send a WhatsApp to 404-333-8751 to schedule a consultation. Let me just put that in there for you guys. I'm going to pin it on Instagram. But if you're on Facebook or YouTube, you should be able to see it, through the ticker. It's scrolling through the ticker. All right. So I am pinning it right now. Okay, so Instagram, you should be able to see it. Now, someone on YouTube says, hello, thank you for all you do. I see USCIS has extended the processing time to 37 months. This wait is overwhelming. Africana, I don't know what kind of case you have, but processing times are just really aspirational goals. Basically, because they say 37 months, depending on what it is that you're referring to, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to take them 37 months, but they will normally list a time just so that people don't start calling after like 1 month or 2 months or 3 months when they know that they can get it. So generally you will see when you look at processing time, it would say, 80% of cases would have been done at this time, but there are different variables to why people's cases might be processed quicker than the others, especially if they request for additional evidence and things like that. So hopefully yours doesn't take that long, but okay, you said it's for VAWA, but realistically, VAWA cases take a year to a year and a half at minimum. I mean, there'll always be like just a handful of stragglers that end up getting approved earlier due to various reasons where maybe it got in the hands of the supervisor or for some other expedited reason. But generally, most people will fall in the 2 years to 2.5 years. While I understand, you feel like the wait is overwhelming, one of the things you can do if you're eligible is to apply for a work permit and a travel permit along with your adjustment of status when you do your VAWA application, so that way, while you're waiting, you at least have a 5-year work permit and a 5-year travel permit. Okay. Hi, Sammy Fed from Boston. Shine White has a question. Go ahead, ask your question. My case says biometrics were added. What's next? How soon can I expect another update? I don't know what kind of case you have, Tisha, but biometrics just means that either you did the biometrics and they've now added that results, or you're about they're going to maybe you did a case before and they're able to use your previous biometrics. What's to come next would just really depend on your case type. I don't know what kind of case you have, but that's what it is. Someone says, I mailed off my documents, but I haven't received a receipt notice. If you haven't, I hope to God that when you mailed out your documents, you at least got a tracker to make sure that it got to the right place. For those of you online here that do these immigration positions yourself, you want to make sure that you are, when you send stuff, two things, you want to make sure that you have a copy of everything that you send to the United States government. That's number one, just so that if something goes wrong, or you have to go to a lawyer, we have the information of what you sent. Number two, you always want to make sure that you have tracking so you can track and verify that USCIS received whatever it is that you sent to them, okay? Africana says, I'm over 2 years now and it's frustrating. Sorry about that. Maybe you can reach out to USCIS, via mail or via your attorney and the attorney's hotline, just to see if there's anything that's stopping them from making a decision, or if there's any way they could possibly qualify for an expedited. Okay. Should I put that my husband is working on an adjustment of status? That's heck. I mean, I don't know your husband and what is going on with that, but generally we don't recommend that clients lie on applications. If someone didn't get a renewal prima facie, can she use the expired one to get a driver's license or other benefits? If you didn't get a renewal, it's not because there's any issue. You can just ask for one. They're supposed to automatically print it, but we're definitely seeing that sometimes they forget, or they'll mail somebody's own and they don't receive it. So definitely reach out to USCIS to see if they can send you yours if you've not gotten it. But you wouldn't be able to use anything expired. I did my interview on November 30th for my green card and no update. So that's December, January. If after 90 days you've not gotten anything, you definitely want to do some sort of inquiry, because usually after that time, we just kind of get a bit concerned that there may be some other fraudulent fraud investigation going on, or that they may want to schedule you for a Stokes interview. Not necessarily, because I remember during COVID, though, we would have interviews and it would take 6 months to get approved. But generally, after 90 days, if it's a typical green card interview, I usually want to know something. So you still have a little bit of time. How long does it take to get a C9 work permit through VAWA? It will depend on if you submitted your adjustment of status with your work permit. If that's the case, it takes anywhere from 4 to 9 months. You can fall in anywhere there. A lot of people are falling in into 4.5 to 6.5 months, but really the window is really 4 to 9 months, sometimes more, but on average, more people than not will be in the 4 to 9 month window. Agosa, I am still waiting for your team to reach out to me. Can you send me an email with your name and your phone number, and then I'll have someone call you. My email is aisha@chidolelaw.com. All right. Let's see. I filed for adjustment recently for my wife since 2020. Recently, we got notification saying you've been granted asylum. Well, that's great. So she may not need the adjustment if they already approved her asylum. Congrats to your wife. I mean, the only thing is, the only thing technically is that she's been granted, if she's just been granted asylum, she still has to wait, before she gets her green card through that. But if you filed her adjustment since 2020, I wonder what's taken so long. We're in 2024. Jamaican Princess Empress says, did a consultation with you, but a lot has changed. I think I'll have to book a new consultation to confirm some things moving forward. Sure, I would love to assist you. Call us 407-995-6567. Let's see. Let's see. Tisha saying Vala, and yes, I applied for work permit. I don't even remember your question again because it's scrolled up, so I don't know which one was your question. Do you need to stay in a safe house when applying for VAWA? You don't unless you need to. So there's no requirement that you need to be in a safe house. But if you don't feel safe and you need to go to a safe house because you have nowhere else to go, then definitely do that. How can I expedite an I-130 that was started in May? My dad is a citizen and I'm over 21 and I'm in US as a student. You can't really do if you're over 21, like you're basically not an immediate relative, so it goes based on preference categories, so US citizen, your F1 category. So you're still looking at like 6 to 7 years before you can, adjust your status. And if you're in the States, you need to make sure that you're in status the entire time of that. So, your age stops you from expediting that, because whether you have an I-130 approved now, you still cannot get a green card because you have to wait for visa availability based on your age. Good morning. I filed for my husband and my stepdaughter both got approved. They sent me a DS-260 and affidavit for my husband and nothing for my daughter. It's been since October. So I'm assuming that you mean you filed an I-130 for them and the I-130 got approved and that they sent you a National Visa Center notification for your husband. I'm going to assume that's what you're referring to. If they've not sent one for your daughter, one of the things that you need to check is to make sure that you selected that your stepdaughter was consular processing. Because if you didn't select that your stepdaughter was consular processing, they won't send that to you automatically. My brother filed for me and I'm presently in the US. Can I apply for a work permit now? Absolutely not. Your brother filing for you is just the I-130. You cannot get a work permit. Sibling petitions takes anywhere from like 16 to 20 years, depending on what country you're from. During the time while your I-130 is pending, you're not eligible for a work permit based on your sibling's application. If your sibling, if your I-130 gets approved and visas are available and you are in status, meaning you have not overstayed your visa at the time visas are available for you to apply, you can do an adjustment of status, and that's when you'd be able to get a work permit. But you're looking at like several years, at least a decade, depending on when your brother filed for you. Is there a way to file again your spouse for mental and emotional abuse? Yeah, it depends on what is going on. Is your spouse a U.S. citizen? Are they a green card holder? Because that will determine what direction that you should go. But we'd love to screen you and see if you qualify for any of those options. This is for Kevin 91. Our number here is 407-995-6567. I appealed my case since last year, no response now. It's more than a year. Appeals are really taking a long time. I mean, I don't know what kind of case or what denial that you had that you appealed, but appeals are definitely taking a long time. You definitely may want to reach out to the appeal department just to check on the status update to see if you can get some sort of movement or see if you can get congressional assistance or ombudsman assistance to assist you as long as you're within normal. You've passed the normal timelines. My VAWA has been approved 14 months now and still no green card. Miss N, that sucks. Definitely you want to reach out to USCIS to see what's going on with that. I will be curious to know if you are if your VAWA was approved based on you being married to a green card holder or US citizen, because that could change things. Let me know in the comments. Let's see. Blue Trillion, Happy New Year. I need to talk to you in person. If you don't mind, sure. Call the office 407-995-6567 to schedule a call. How long does an I-129F take to get approved? That's for a fiancé visa, for those of you who don't know. That will typically take anywhere from, like, I would say 7 to 13 months is what we see on average. And then when that part gets approved, you still have to do the consular processing. And the consular processing timeline will depend on what country you're from. Some countries are very quick and some countries take a longer time. You know. Good morning. Me have a problem because my agent doesn't work at the office. Me can't get the help that me need. Don't really understand this one. I got update for the I-485 after approved VAWA request for evidence. What is it? It's I don't know what it is. This is for Patel Jia. You just have to wait for the request for evidence to see what they're asking you for. Sometimes after your VAWA approval, when you get an I-485 request for evidence, they may be asking you for your medicals, or they may be asking you for an I-864 waiver if you never submitted one before, or there may be something else that they may need. If you need like a 601 waiver, I don't know, because I don't know what your case is or what you submitted. But those are the things I would say it's best to just wait till you get the letter, and then you see. Okay. Chums Williams says, what's the difference in processing time when married to a green card holder or a U.S. citizen when a person files for VAWA? This is a very, very good question. I'm just going to repeat the question again. So the question is, what is the difference in processing time when you're married to a green card holder or a U.S. citizen when a person files for VAWA? So for the VAWA portion of the application, there's no difference in timeline. However, when you submit a VAWA application, typically, if you're married to a U.S. citizen, you can also submit an adjustment of status right away as an immediate relative, right, of a U.S. citizen. And then once your VAWA is approved, you can move straight to your interview or interview bypass and get your green card. In the past, you were able to do this with being married to a green card holder when visas were current. But generally, when you're married to a green card holder, they're not considered an immediate relative. So there's usually a wait time before you can submit an adjustment of status. So right now, the visa bulletin, you're looking at, as of September, basically, of 2023, it changed and went back to status quo where they're processing. I want to say it's 2019. I don't have it off the top of my head. So you're looking at like 5-year wait time. So part of the wait is inclusive of when you do your VAWA case. So let's just say, scenario wise, you submit based on you being married to a green card holder. Your VAWA case takes 2 to 3 years. It takes 2 to 3 years. Once that's approved, you still have another 2 years to wait, because with the green card holder, they're going to base on your priority date to determine when a green card is available for you. With a U.S. citizen, they're not. They're giving you a green card immediately. I hope that was helpful to clarify. It's a little complicated, but that's the general gist of it. So basically, U.S. citizens will get a quicker result, basically. If I send the FBI background check together with a VAWA application, can USCIS use it instead wait for biometrics? I know VAWA cases take long. You must do so. No matter what kind of case you submit, this is not an option. You must submit biometrics, or biometrics will be meaning you have to pay or get a fee waiver for biometrics, and that'll be bypassed. I'm sorry, and whether USCIS decides to bypass it because they have your old biometrics or they send you for biometrics, that must happen. That is completely separate from a background check through FBI. When you're submitting a VAWA application, you have to show proof of good moral character in the last 3 years preceding before that application went in, right? So generally, if you're not able, let's say you're someone who lived in different states in those 3 years trying to get yourself together when you were, the last 3 years, the easiest way, if those 3 years were here in America, would be to send an FBI clearance, because then you would be able to clear all of the US. Right. So that one is not an option. You have to send some form of proof of good moral character, or they will send you a request for additional evidence for it. If you know that you've not lived in any other state except the one state, you can do what we call a police clearance. So you can go to the police station in the state that you live in and get a clearance that you don't have any issues in Georgia, any issues in Washington state, or wherever you live. But if you've lived in more than one state, you definitely want to do that. And then for those of you who have not lived in the US for up to 3 years, when you submit your VAWA application, we definitely want background clearance, like police clearance, from whatever country you were in after the, like prior to you coming here, basically 3 years from the date of application. One more question and I have to jump off. Hello, if filing for your child via NVC since they're outside the US and you submitted the petition but their passport is not expired, how do I enter the new passport info into the filing process? If you've already finished the NVC, you're going to have another opportunity to update anything that you need to before the interview, or they can just take it to the interview and give them the new passport, because that's what they're going to put the stamp on. Okay. All right. I hope you guys have an amazing day. I'll be live tomorrow at 10 o'clock. So if I didn't get to your question, you can come on live tomorrow and I'll try and get to as many as I can. Have a good day, everyone. Bye.